This is Margaret Windsor, and I've put a lot of videos up in the past little over a year since the Murphy disappearance, and the man's been tried and convicted of her murder and kidnapping, and this is a mind control that's done in patterns. So I've put it on there. I've put it on Facebook, and believe me, the media, the police, everybody's known it, the mechanism used in some of the murders, and they're done in patterns. So I'm going to leave it there and go to, I'm just going to show you some pictures. I am going to say this, though. I wrote a book, and I'm getting off from what I had written down. I don't usually write things down, but anyway, this is a Fort Hood shooter who was a student at Virginia Tech in Blacksburg, Virginia, near Roanoke and Salem and Vinton. Now, he was born here in Roanoke and Vinton. He lived, Vinton's just like a, well, it's not a suburb, but they're right together in Salem. But he finished school at Virginia Tech, which is in Montgomery County, and I'm saying that for a reason, if this is ever told. He was a psychiatrist, and he's supposedly the Fort Hood shooter. And I'm just going to pan over before I get into the other, this, because a lot of it is about the mind control being used to commit murders, having someone else commit them, someone else pay for the crime. It's on this tape, it's the agencies of the United States government using biological warfare, chemicals, developing viruses or diseases in labs such as the Center for Disease Control. It's supposed to protect you. Where the Ebola and the AIDS started, they even brought the doctor, aid worker, what was his last name, Brantley, and he even testified before the U.S. Congress a few days ago. They even brought him and his co-worker and two others suffering from who had caught the virus back to where it began, Emory and Center for Disease Control. Now, I'm just going to span and show you some of the mind control, and all these people here know it, and they really wish me dead. Not this. The Elizabeth Haysom and Jens Orings, Jens and Elizabeth were students at University of Virginia in Charlottesville, near here. And they're in prison now, and it was a knife used in that one, but this one happened in '84 when I was in Grottoes, Virginia. And it was tried in Bedford, Virginia, which is right next door to me now, where I'm at in Roanoke. Now, this is a really sad one. Heidi Childs and David Metzler. Her father, there were students there at Virginia Tech, and they were shot with a rifle. And her father was a Virginia State Trooper, Childs. Now, when I was writing the book, and I'm getting away, and I probably will, I don't know, anyway, the video will go off and I won't have gotten it all in. This is the name they gave me when they kidnapped me and brought me over here. They gave me the name of a twin, which I put the birth certificates and the marking through of dates and all that. That's from Montgomery, Alabama. They took me to Moulton, Alabama. And Childers is a name that I go by. That was my married name, unless I can ever get my real name back, which is Windsor. In it, he says that I knew who was responsible for his shooting. This is while I was doing the book in Marietta, and he was shot in Lawrenceville. Now then, I wanted to show Snowden because he's in in Russia now, and he told the truth, and he had to leave. In fact, they tried to put him in prison or on, they've done enough to him. He told the truth. He just touched the iceberg, though, tip of the iceberg. That's national security involved. And this is another one of the mind control murders. It's Mark and Scott Kelly. Mark is the husband of Gabby Gifford, who was a U.S. Congresswoman. And this is the murders that happened in Tucson, Arizona, where she was having a conference or a speech, I believe, a few years ago. And they were both astronauts. Her husband's Mark, and Scott's a twin, and both of them are astronauts. Now then, I'm going to just scan through this, and then I'm going to read what I wanted to read to you. This is Sandy Hook. He's programmed. He shot himself. He shot his mother, and he's hated. He's a kid that it could have been your kid that was programmed. He's a victim of mind control. This is Timothy McVeigh, and he told everybody that the government, army, military put a chip up his buttocks, and he died and put to death for the Oklahoma City bombing. And Brian Nichols is still in prison in Oklahoma. This is Holmes, and he's being treated for mental illness, which mind control has nothing to do with mental illness. It's so hideous. You get so many laws broken in all this, you can't name them. Anyway, I was flown out to Florence because I'd written about Dr. Larry McDonald, and that was in the volume or pages, if you want to say, of mind control, but the links to AIDS. I didn't mention Ebola in that. You go back and look, though. The Ebola started in 76, and this is the thing. You can Google these agencies under the U.S. government. They're projects that are engaging in mind control, chemical warfare. What makes you think they don't use them on you? Because they are. But anyway, I wanted to, that's an art. And this won't make sense to you unless the truth's ever told. Jeff Bridges, and they share. They own the house. I was up there in Bel Air. Her and her husband, Sonny Bono, who was a U.S. congressman. First, he was a mayor in Palm Springs, and he smashed into a tree. I believe it was January, I can't remember, some years ago. He was an avid skier and became a U.S. congressperson, and he just suddenly smashes into the tree, about like the Chinese fellow, that student at the University, at Virginia Tech, when he'd been there a year and he was polite and everything, and a student from China comes. He's been there a week, I believe, a few years ago at Christmas Eve. They went out to a cafe on campus at Virginia Tech Blacksburg. Suddenly, where does this idea come from? Just suddenly he jumps up and he's got a knife and he severs her head. And he picks her head up off the floor. And this is in court documents where they tried him. He's in prison for murder. He's a victim of mind control. And there's a list of them at Virginia Tech, the University of Virginia. You want to go back to Huntsville, Alabama, where I worked for the district attorney after I had antifreeze put in me April the 1st of 80, after I'd done the book. Got a letter from the U.S. Attorney's Office, FBI, dated June the 23rd of 79. This all happened to me. You should see the murders that happened there and hear the whole layout of it to see what your government's really like and what they've done to other parts of the world, specifically Great Britain. Now then, if I've got the time here on this video, which I don't, it's going out. All you have to do is Google mind control projects, and you'll find MJ Ultra, chemical weapon agencies by the United States. They're used for weapons of war. Labor, labs in the United States that develop viruses, and that would be part AIDS, Ebola, etc., genetically engineered diseases, deliberately engineered in labs here that the United States gives money to, grants to, and commit their crimes. And I did want to get this in if I can. When I was in Grottoes, Virginia, I still had a car furnished by Larry Flynn, Hustler